Hey guys, welcome to Through the Bible Verse by Verse, a plain and simple study of the entire Bible, book by book, chapter by chapter, and verse by verse. We are in Exodus chapter 24. We're going to try to take Exodus 24 and 25 today. As I said, a lot of these commandments, we're studying the commandments of God. And so, a lot of the commandments are self-explanatory. So I would just probably do I'm going to be reading at a faster pace. Only because, again, a lot of them are self-explanatory. Also keep this in mind that they are commandments for Israel. How Israel were to conduct themselves. And so in this, we're going to see God is going to enact the covenant. And this is something that is repeated in the book of Hebrews, kind of the official enactment of the covenant. God established the covenant now. Okay, it's almost like we would say, a closing when you close on your house, or if you buy a car, there's an official, you have to sign some papers over, you have to sign some, in fact, in both cases, you sign a lot of stuff. But this is God's official enacting of his covenant with the people. All right, let's go on, move into it. Exodus chapter 24, and he says, and then he said to Moses, go up to the Lord, you and Aaron and Nadab and Abihu and 70 of Israel's elders, and bow and worship at a distance. So again, keep this in mind that they see this. They see the Lord. No other nation have had these manifestations, these acts, these acts happen in their presence, which makes their idolatries even more, sinful. Verse 2. Moses alone is to approach the Lord, but the others are not to approach, and the people are not to go up with him. Kind of like when when God came down on the mountain and appeared, he said, don't break through the barriers. Verse 3, Moses came and told the people all the commands of the Lord and all of the ordinances. Then all of the people responded with a single voice, we will do everything the Lord has commanded us. No, they won't. But anyway, verse 4, and Moses wrote down all the words of the Lord. He rose early the next morning and set up an altar of 12 pillars for the 12 tribes of Israel at the base of the mountain. Then he sent out verse 5 again. Then he sent out young Israelite men, and they offered burnt offerings and sacrificed bulls as fellowship offerings to the Lord. Moses took half of the blood and set it in the basins. The other half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar, and then he took the covenant scroll and read it aloud to the people. They responded, we will do and obey everything the Lord has commanded us. Again, no, they won't. But notice he's sprinkling the blood here. This is the kind of official enactment here of the covenant. Moses took, verse 8, Moses took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said, this is the blood of the covenant that the Lord has made with you concerning all these words. Now, again, this was an official act, right? In other words, they walked away saying, hey, we got this on paper, as it were. It's official. Verse 9. Then let me also say this, but that means they also have to obey these commandments too. There was a lot of blessings to them, but there was, believe it or not, we're going to see this when we get to Deuteronomy, there were more curses to the law than there were blessing. Verse 9. Then Moses went up with Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of Israel's elders, and they saw the God of Israel. Beneath his feet was something like a pavement made of sapphire stone, as clear as the sky itself. God did not harm the Israelites' nobles. They saw him, and they ate and they drank. Now, this is again amazing because they actually see this manifestation of God. Notice that God did not kill them. Why? Because God had commanded them to come. And secondly, they didn't see his face. But they did see the form of God. And this was an enactment, remember, of the covenant. So this is kind of amazing. This is going to be amazing because this is going to be amazing because remember, they see this. And keep this in mind, just in a few chapters, we're going to have the golden calf incident. Verse 12. The Lord said to Moses, come up to me on the mountain and stay here so that I may give you the stone tablets with the law and the commandments I have written for their instructions. All right, so Moses arose with his assistant Joshua and went up to the mountain of God. Of course, Joshua would become later the leader who will lead the people into the promised land. Joshua was really now the commander. He's Moses' assistant, but he's also acting in a military capacity. Verse 14. He told the elders, wait here for us until we return to you. Aaron and her are here with you. Whoever had the dispute should go to them. Now, this was, remember, when God had given some of the spirit of Moses to put it on the 70 of Israel. Remember, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had given this wise advice. Spread out, teach the people, teach these leaders, and then they will be able to handle the smaller cases. Verse 15, and when Moses went up to the mountain, the cloud covered it. The glory of the Lord settled on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. On the seventh day he called to Moses from the cloud. The appearance of the Lord's glory to the Israelites was like a consuming fire on the mountain. Moses entered the cloud, and he went up to the mountain, and he remained on the mountains 40 days and 40 nights. So the rest of what we're going to see until actually chapter 32 is Moses in the presence of God. Now, Aaron, remember the leaders, the 70 leaders, they see this. Right? They see this glory. They see Moses enter into this cloud. They saw the form of God. Okay, so now remember we won't see them until 40 days later. Okay, but so now verse 25. The Lord spoke to chapter 25 and then verse 1. The Lord spoke to Moses, tell the Israelites to take an offering for me. You are to take my offering from everyone who is willing to give. Now this is interesting. This offering, by the way, is going to be for the tabernacle. We'll get to that in a moment, more explanation of that. But notice he said it is a willing offering. Verse 3, this is the offering you are to receive from them: gold, silver, and bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, fine linen, and goat's hair, ram skins, dye, red, and manatee skins, acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and from the fragrance incense, and oxen along with other gemstones for mounting of the ephod and the breastplates. He says, they are to make a sanctuary for me so that I may dwell among them. You must make it according to all that I show you, the pattern of the tabernacle as well as the pattern of all the furnishings. Now this is not of course, brick and mortar temple. This tabernacle would be made of tents. The best way to kind of look at it as tents. It was a portable temple, a portable sanctuary. So whenever Israel would move, they would pack up the tabernacle, and then whenever they would rest, they would unpack it and set up the temple. And then we're going to see all of these details of what this tabernacle is made of, the tents, the poles, all of that. Verse 10, they are to make an ark of acacia wood, 45 inches long, 25 inches wide, and 27 inches high, overlay it with pure gold, overlay it both sides, inside and out, both inside and out. Also make a gold molding all around it. Cast 4 golden wings for it, and place them on its 4 feet, 2 rings on one side and 2 rings on the other side. Make poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. Insert the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark in order to carry the ark from them. Verse 15, the poles are to remain in the ark, the rings of the ark. They must not be removed from it. Put the tablets of the testimony that I will give you into the ark. Now we're going to see these poles, right, were for how they were to carry the ark, and David would later get in trouble for not doing that. Some of the Philistines will get in trouble for not obeying these commands here. Verse 15, make 2 cherubims of gold, make them of hammered work at 2 ends of the mercy seat. Make 1 cherub at one end and the cherub at the other end, and its 2 ends. Make the cherub of one piece with the mercy seat. The cherubims are to have wings spread out above, covering the mercy seat with their rings, and are to face one another. Their faces of the cherubim should be towards the mercy seat. And set the mercy seat on top of the ark, and put the testimony that I will give you into the ark, and I will meet with you there above the mercy seat between the 2 cherubims that are over the ark of the testimony, and I will speak with you from there about all that I command you regarding the Israelites. So we're just setting up this is actually it's going to be quite a production here. So you're going to see that what is going to be made. Now we will get into the actual making of it towards the end of the book. This is God's instruction. This is what I want. This is what I want. All right. So verse 23, he says, you are to construct a table of acacia wood, 36 inches long, 18 inches wide, 27 inches high, overlay it with pure gold, and make the gold molding all around it. Make a 3-inch frame around it, and make the gold molding from around its frame. Make the 4 rings for it. Attach the 4 rings to it. They should the 4 rings should be next to the frame holders for the poles to carry the table. Make the poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold, and the table can be carried by them. So you notice God is really into gold. Okay, you are to also make it plates and cups, as well as the pitchers and the bowls for pouring drink offering. Make them out of pure gold. Put the bread of the presence of the table before me at all times. We'll get more to that later. And by the way, because you'll see this bread right here is supposed to be in the temple, David is going to eat of this bread. Lady 1, you are to make a lampstand of pure gold, hammered gold. It is to be made of one piece, its base and its shaft, its ornament, cups, and its calice, and pedestals. 6 branches are to extend from each side, 3 branches of the lampstand from one side, and 3 branches of the lamp from the other side. There are to be 3 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with calyx and pistils on the first branch, and 3 cups shaped like almond blossoms, each with the calyx and petals on the next branch. It is to be this way for the 6 branches that extend from the lampstand. There are to be 4 cups shaped like almond blossoms on the lampstand's shaft, along with the calyx and pistils. For the 6 branches that extend from the lampstand, a calyx must be under the first pair of the branches from it, calyx under the second pair of the branches from it, the calyx under the pair of the branches from it. The calyx and the branches are to be of one piece. All of it is to be a single hammered piece of pure gold. Make 7 lamps on it. Its lamps are to be set up and they are to illuminate the area in front of it. Its snuffles and fire pans must be of pure gold. The lampstands with all of these utensils must be made from 75 pounds of pure gold. Be careful to make them according to the pattern you have been shown on the mountain. This is quoted in Hebrews. And again, they were to be very careful about this, how they were to make the tabernacle, as you can see right here. Some of this, and again, it's kind of very interesting. Again, what you're going to see, what we're going to get to, these are some of the insides, right? Some of the pieces of worship. And later we will get to the priest, okay? We'll get to the priest. But God's presence would occupy this as well. And that's what we're going to see. All right, so I'm going to pick it up at verse 26. Actually 26 to 28 next time. So 26 to 28 in the next study. All right, guys, I'll see you then.